All right, last video of the chapter. So this is going to be just like the third practice that you worked on, the vertex form, where when these equations are given to you, they should be in the parentheses like this so that we can see how far things are moved left and right or up and down. So this is just remembering what those different parts of the equation were telling you. So if you have y equals blank, parenthesis x, plus or minus some number squared plus or minus some number. We looked at last time that this number right here is going to tell you how far up or down the graph moves, the vertex shifts. And then in here, we're going to go left or right, that number. But the tricky part is remembering that it is the opposite. So if it's positive, you actually go left. If it's negative, you go right. And then this number out front is going to be how much you stretch or squish the graph, meaning how far open or closed the graph might be. So when we look at this equation, it says based off of the original, just x squared, what we call the parent function. It's the simplest equation you can have that has a 2 exponent on it. Then they do some extra stuff. They add a 3 on the back. So that tells me it should be shifted positive 3 up 3. And it has a minus 9 on the inside. Well, minus would normally make me think left, but opposite tells me it should shift right. So I'm going to shift it up 3 units because of that plus 3 that's back here. And I am going to shift it right 9 units. Because even though it's a subtraction, minus 9, I have to remember that it does the opposite on the inside of the parentheses. So I would move in the positive direction when I see a minus sign, and I'd move in the negative left when I see a plus sign. And that is all there is to it. Let's look at one more, just to make sure they don't give us any weird stuff. All right, so here they give you a graph, and they want to say, what's the equation for the g function? So I have to be careful when I look at this. The blue line is the f function, and the dashed purple line is the g function. So basically it's asking, how do I make this become this? Well, I'm going to set it up just like what we were looking at before, where I have to fill in numbers where the boxes are. So the first thing I'm going to do is to look at how far over and down this has been shifted. So it looks like it's come down 5. Right, to get from the blue to the purple line, I would have to make this drop down 5. So right away, I know there's going to be a minus 5 at the end because that's how far up or down I've shifted. And then it looks like it's come to the left 4. Well, here's where I have to remember that you do the opposite. Even though it went left 4, or if I want it to go left 4, I have to have a plus sign in here because to go into the negatives, you need the opposite, a positive 4. And then finally, I want to make sure if it still goes, see how it goes over 1, up 1, just like the first one did? That means that you can either type a 1 out there or not put anything out there. If there's not a number there, we assume or treat it like it's a 1. So you don't have to include the 1 if you don't want to. And you definitely don't want to include the y equals. That's what this g of x already means. Right? That's function notation is something you learned about in Algebra 1. You just need to type in over here what the equation is to get that blue line to become the purple line. So if you want, you can put a 1 here, and then parenthesis, x plus 4, close your parenthesis, and you use this little AB button to get up into the exponent where you don't forget your 2 on the parenthesis. Right? These are all squared. That's what makes it a U-shaped graph. If you forget that 2, it's not going to be a U-shaped graph anymore. And then minus 5. And that's it. All right, so spend some time working on those. Try to make sure that you get at least 75% on everything in this chapter, and we're going to shoot for the quiz here in about a week or so. So take your time and work through it, and let me know how I can help.